It's the favorite. It's time to review. So much has happened in your class. I almost don't know where to start. Okay, well, let's start with some of the key concepts that you have learned from the beginning and from the last two classes. One, this is gray market income, otherwise known as GMI. The purpose of gray market income is to increase the quality of your life. Gray market, for many of you, are the first steps that you do in understanding your resources and how to put your resources to work in a way that's going to bring you a higher quality of life. So for many of you, this is also a business model that you're going to try to take those skills that you have and add them up in a way that actually brings you cash. The third group of people that take this class is really people who are looking to take their business model and increase the types of services that they offer, or to look at other ways to kind of pull in some of the skills that they already have, repurpose them, or push them into a product that's more aligned with their values. You see a lot of people take the GMI class, the gray market income class, after they've taken a monetary identity class, because it helps them understand how to put their values to work in a product. So again, what we're going to review is some of the types of things that why do we even want to learn a 5-star model? The 5-star business model, far and away, is the most diverse and complex model that you can teach in business, especially for micro entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs, because it really has many different layers. When you look at a 5-star model, I always tell people to look back at the old human body diagrams, where you have they show a whole picture of a body, and then they have kind of these pullouts of here's the integumentary system, and here's the respiratory system, and here's this system. When you have worked with a 5-star model, as long as I have, one of the great parts of it is that you can really start pushing those things together and work on a piece at a time. The first place that we had you start is understanding your network. Of course, the lesson that we're always going to teach you is network equals net worth. And what that means is that who you know, how you know them, how you interface with them is going to decide how much net worth that you're able to create. That is the largest piece of wealth that you have, are the people that you know. I mean, that the amount of, I know a guy and I know a person and this knows a person, the amount that the knowledge and the resources that you personally can access is unlimited when you look at the size and scope of your network. If you have not worked on your network, that will be your call to action from this class of you must understand your network. You must understand how a network affects your paycheck and how it affects your resources. So again, the first 5-star model that many people did is just understanding the networks that they had. Who do you know from your past? We usually push those into the lower parts of the star. Who is in your present? That are usually the arms of the star. And where do you want to go in the future? What are the relationships that you want to go? So a lot of you really started with your first star of understanding the relationships or the networks that you've already built. Some of you did more of an income star of what are the different spaces that you can actually derive an income from. Some of you are authors, some of you are trainers, some of you are work in therapy, some of you work in alternative health models, some of you are real estate people. I mean, there are so many ways that you can make a living. So many times people do this as an income star, where they'll say, well, here's the ways that I can make income. Okay, Well, what happens if we start taking a couple of these stars and pushing them together and saying, hey, can we create this piece of product knowledge and apply it to a new market that you already know? For some of you, you'll do more than one star and you'll start pushing them together. So again, my advice to you, again, relax, stay open. I hear it again and again and again and again and again and again and again. Resistance, 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 resistance to new ideas, to trying new things. Let it go. Let it go. Take in some new information. The thing that I love about 3 and 4, classes 3 and 4, and actually 3, 4, 5, is that it gives you a lot of chances to work with other idea brokers in the room to get new concepts and start pushing things together and allowing information in. The best thing you can do when looking at the resources that you already have or the things that you're already knowledgeable about, what are you already good at? And how can we bring what you're already good at, the skills you own today, apply them to where you've been, where you are, and where you want to go? And is there a way that we can trade those resources in for maybe some paychecks or some other types of fulfillment, something that will increase the quality of your life? And you're the person, you are the one who's going to decide what is value. What is value for you? So the concepts that we've really been working on is the 5-star model. The last 2 things that I want to bring into you are the 2 really important concepts of the understanding how to work at the speed of trust. That is not a new concept. Check out the book. There's this concept that says the relationships that you have and how well you've mended them and how well you work with them will decide how fast you can work. Someone who can work at the speed of trust will absolutely work 10 times faster than someone who has to stop and build trust, or someone who is not trustworthy. They are fighting for every step of the way. Many times, because of all the work that you've done and all the good things you've already created, there are already relationships that you can work at the speed of trust in. We're trying to put the speed of trust into all your business relationships and what needs to happen to be able to work at the speed of trust. Working at the speed of trust means that that register can work a lot faster, that somebody can know your product or your brand or your return policy. Sometimes it's infrastructure. Why would they trust you and why would they work with you? Give them a reason to do business with you. And sometimes it's something as simple as a return policy. If you don't like it, I'll give you your money back. How many times have you heard that? The last thing that I want you to remember is this concept that we've gone over briefly, that we'll go over again in class, which is, what is a cash cow? A cash cow is when you have an asset, and an asset is something that pays you money, right? So an asset is something that pays you money. When you have a product that is something that will pay you quickly, and it is the largest amount of payoff for the smallest amount of work. You are looking for something that can create cash as quickly as it can, because that cash cow is going to fund the rest of the farm. If you want to know how do you create wealth, or how do you create not really wealth, but other forms of capital to fund some of these other things that you may want to do, it is first you need a cash cow, something that can produce every day at 5 a.m., right? A cow is absolutely a machine that produces every day by just living its normal life. And that's really what you're looking for, is something that can produce every day and really feed everything else that you want to do. So a cash cow is a critical component to every business model, and it's going to be a critical component for you. And we're going to concentrate on that cash cow of what is the product that you can do that will pay you off over and over again and doesn't take you a ton of time to do. The examples that we gave were simple things like understanding a product. The florist that took this class before, she had these beautiful, they stood about this tall, and they were little topiaries of baby roses, little rosebuds. And she would just, all of the rosebuds that she had, I think she had just a lot that were in storage, that kind of, they would dry out really well, and she could buy them at a very low price. But anyway, she would make these little topiaries, and they looked fabulous. It looked like a $40 item, because she would do them as a set of 2. She's like, those things take me 7 minutes to make, and I can sell those for $40 a shot. I'm like, okay then. She goes, and I can teach somebody to do those at 7 minutes each, and I can teach them how to do that at $8 an hour. Okay, so when she looked at what did she want to promote, what did she have to give away, what was the offer that she was going to come to the table with, she's always going to come to the table with this cash cow, something that looks like it's a really big value, that costs this much to do, and can be moved out quickly. And that's what we're looking for you to really concentrate on as your first products. Okay, the phone's ringing. I gotta go. I'll see you in class. Bye.